I'm glad somebody picked up on that this is a little bit more niche that they're talking about in addition to saving money. And, they're trying to make it current, right, with all the bro kind of culture and type of thing. So I think I think they do a lot of subgroups and really try to be current in terms of whatever's in the culture, and kind of work backwards. They probably let like different themes say, oh, we're noticing this theme, maybe we can create a commercial around it, because they have a lot of new commercials all the time. This is new, that's getting a lot of rotation right now, but I don't think this was around like last year. And so they go through different cycles of commercials, which means that they probably have different themes. They'll run through it. When this theme kind of, loses its freshness, they probably have another one that they're working on right now that they'll release like maybe for the holidays or definitely early next year. So I would imagine that these are under heavy rotation right now. So, so I think, by your comments, we kind of covered the next one with what are the company's goals in creating this commercial. Obviously, it's to, show you that you can save money. It's to show customers that Geico is applicable to everybody, regardless of what your insurance needs are. But, kind of now, let me ask you guys a different question. If you are not a customer of Geico, does this commercial make you want to consider Geico or even switch?
That's a good question. Give everybody a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I have one no from Patsy. I got 3 no's. Hillary and Maria also agree no. Yolanda is a no. At least not this one, as she says. It looks like just about everybody universally is no.
So no, this is good, because like I said, there's no right or wrong answer, because this is, we're not doing accounting problems or math problems. This is your opinion. And so I asked that question because isn't the point of, if I were, let's say I put my critical thinking hat on, well, isn't a commercial trying, the point of it is to inform you and educate you and maybe to convince and to get maybe new customers. So then why is Geico doing this? So we have, granted we are a small sample, but for discussion purposes, then if it doesn't make people, say, oh my God, I want Geico as my insurer, then why do you think they're doing this?
Oh, I have a good comment here from Kenneth. He says, no, but these commercials stick out in your mind. So in some circumstances, the name would come up if you're seeking insurance. So that's a good one.
Yeah, for new customers, it might work, right?
Right.
And so, so in terms of how does a company grow, either with new customers who've never had insurance, right, or people who switch. So maybe they know that people may not switch, but for people who are looking for new, when I say new customers, new insurance customers, right, like they're choosing between Geico and somebody else. So maybe at that point, it helps for that brand recognition.
Yeah, we also have somebody who was a Geico customer, Arnold, because the customer service is a problem for some. So I guess he was a customer, did not like the customer service philosophy. So.
Yeah, so that's the thing in terms of, the other downside is, Geico makes it really entertaining and fun, but then in terms of if their customer service doesn't live up to it, yeah, people are going to be disappointed in terms of if there's a lot of bureaucracy or a lot of red tape or, this is insurance. It's an emotional product, because you only need insurance when something goes wrong, right? Like if everything is going swimmingly with your car, why would you call Geico? And so it's one thing to, make fun commercials, but if you really sit back and analyze, like when you call Geico, it's for an emergency or usually when there's like car trouble. So that's the other thing that they probably need to, square.
Do we know whether Geico is the letters are an abbreviation? I have Kenneth asking here.
I believe it is. I don't know, but all I know is that it's owned by Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's company. It's one of the companies that he owns. So I do think it was some other type of like longer, more traditional name, and Geico is the acronym, but I don't know what it stands for.
Well, I don't know if Kenneth is right or not, but he's saying the government employee insurance company. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
And if somebody can Google it and then tell us while we're on the call, that would be great.
Okay.
Unless Kenneth, you just did that, so that would be cool. So then, okay, good. So this is a good starting point. Let's move to the next commercial then.
Okay. Hang on just a moment here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next one that you want would be, is that the GM or GE?
Yeah.
GE. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so this has become one of my favorite commercials. So I definitely like this. That's why I wanted to put in there. But it's one of those things of like, I think everything works. The music is good. The story, they made a little movie, right? Like it definitely tells a story. And so I find that it's like I think there are many elements to this, which is why I really do like it. And I love to hear what you guys think.
I have one that says they love it. Oh wow, they're coming in quick. GE is a company of innovation and creates creative jobs, and even starts from an early age. It inspires to be more creative. Love it. Yes, love it. Anybody else? That was, let's see, Arnold, Maria, Luke, and Kenneth. We have any other? Okay.
So then why don't we switch to, in terms of as you guys type in more, what do you think they're trying to convey? So I know you said it's a company of innovation, type of thing. And, before I kind of tell you what I think, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, we never stop reimagining. I thought it was cool and really creative. Let's see, innovation girls in technology. That's a good point.
Yep.
Couldn't hear any. Oh, okay. General Electric is all for innovation, great creativity. I like this one. I think that it shows that creativity is what inspires us to think differently and to ultimately what makes the difference in our future. That was from Erica. Anybody else? They try to convey products that work for people for long periods of time and that are very creative. Okay.
Yeah, agreed. So in terms of in terms of the marketing messages, there are a couple of things that jumped out at me. Yes, that this is a company of innovation and really thinking ahead. And I think that's pretty obvious. The other thing that I, immediately came to me, especially if I put my, business hat on, is that it would be a fun place to work. That they're probably trying to convey that it's not your stodgy, boring company to work for, but it's probably it seems like it's very geared towards millennials and young people to consider it a job. Like everyone, Silicon Valley has been so glamorized of like, oh, you want to work at Google and you want to work at Facebook and all these other types of companies. And if you're thinking about a GE, IBM, these larger, older companies have to compete. And I think it's also recasting GE as a place to work. Because we see Molly, the character, kind of right after, I assume it's probably, younger in her career, right? Like in terms of she's not 60 or 70 years old. I think they show her like from, grade school on to college and right after college. And so, we see Molly kind of get older. And so I immediately viewed it as they're trying to get, the top talent, and especially top science talent, right, and technology talent. So, and if you're a programmer, the I think the default is Silicon Valley, and so I think they're trying to compete against that.
Yeah, we also have well, I think this was mentioned before, but Kenneth indicates psychologically we can add that women are valued at GE.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly right. I was hoping somebody would say that before I said it. So good. Yeah, and I also think in terms of it shows that what you can learn at a young age, right? Like if you let people tinker. What I like about it is that she's doing her homework. She's taking out the trash. That these are things that can be innovated. That's the other message that I thought was embedded in there of like innovation isn't this esoteric thing that we can have an innovative mindset doing everyday things. That's the other message that I got from it.
Mm-hmm. Shows people making their products and putting their all into them, makes you want to get that product psychologically. We can add, oh, okay. So I'm sorry, I'm skipping through two of them, but yeah,
no problem.
Sometimes they run together.
Yep. So then do you think so let me kind of, before we go to the next commercial, what has your impression of GE changed because of this?
I'll give everybody a moment to post here. Arnold indicates he loves GE. Anybody else? Personally, I really like the commercial. I hadn't seen it before. Debbie sent them to me for the webinar, and I hadn't seen this one before, and I thought it was really innovative and creative too.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that commercial, like, I definitely took more notice of it, and I think because of this, I view GE differently. There's like a freshness, like, oh, I wonder what they'll do next. Like there's more of a curiosity for me about the company. Remember, GE is over 100, if not 200 years old. It's one of the oldest companies in our country. It's a very kind of old school traditional company. The world has changed, right? GE has to change along with it. So I find that this is kind of like a new type of GE that they're trying to show that it's new priorities, new culture, new everything to attract that next generation of workers.
Yeah, we've got a couple more posts here. GE has a general history of promoting their technology and advancements in their commercials. I always prefer GE appliances. The commercial makes me feel good about that preference. It shows another side of the company that few get to see. I always love GE.
That's really smart. These are great.
Yeah, GE also makes medical equipment for hospitals.
Yep.
So it looks like we have some GE fans here, or new GE fans, one or the other.
That's right. Either way, the commercial's working, right? Like I think the company is achieving its goals. Whoever made this commercial, they definitely deserve a pat on the back. Okay. I would say it's one of my favorite commercials right now.
Okay, I think that's all that I have at the moment.
Okay, well then why don't we go to the next one?
Okay, and that's the Subaru commercial. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so what did you guys think of that one? And while you type, yeah, I find it very different than traditional other kind of majority of other commercials, which is why I wanted to put it in. I like it, and I think I like it because it's different, but yet still compelling in terms of for what the company wants to achieve.
Okay, we got a few comments here. Cute commercial, I like it. Cute protective mom with puppy. Let's see. This is saying it's it's so safe. Even a dog can drive it. Very cute. I hadn't thought of it that way. Angled at invoking emotions. All parents can relate to this one, so it it's one that will stick in the memory. Subaru's always included the pet as part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's really smart. I like that. Yeah, that it's for families, right? Like you think of families as kids and dogs, kids and pets,
right.
right? Suitable for family for larger families.
Yeah. Here's another one. I love it. They're using personification with dogs. Who doesn't love dogs? It's
Yep.
cute and reliable. Good point. That was from Luke. I thought it was different, so cute. Um, let's see, that's
And when
about
I
it.
say different, it's like there are no words, right? It's just music, and it's just there's and it still achieved a story, right? Like in terms of you can totally relate to those to that vignette.
Mhm. Yeah,
There are no words, right? There are very few commercials that don't have words.
um, well, personally, I like the commercial, but it's appealing to a certain market, you know. Um,
Yep.
the guy who's going to buy a Mustang isn't going to go for this
No, right.
commercial, or you know.
Agreed. Agreed. But at the same time, I think they can appreciate. So I think it goes back to like what somebody said about Geico. You may not switch, but you understand what Geico stands for. So I totally agree. Like if you want to buy a Mustang, if you want to buy a Porsche, yeah, okay. So you're not going to buy the Subaru because you don't have kids and dogs, but you know exactly what Subaru stands for.
Mhm. Yeah, a couple more comments here to just on top of that. It tells that it's a family vehicle. I also like how it echoed another commercial: mother tested, mother approved.
Hmm.
So that's
Do
all
you,
I
so
see
do
at
you,
the moment.
so I think it's kind of unanimous that it's an effective commercial, correct? Like it's effective for Subaru, that the company is achieving its goals.
Just waiting for some feedback here. I've got a yes.
Hmm.
I've got two yeses.
Hmm.
Three, four, five.
Okay, so okay, good. Um,
Looks like
then
everybody's a yes on this one.
sure. So then okay, so for the people who may not have heard that much about Subaru or didn't know that much about Subaru, uh, does this solidify in terms of like how you think about it? Like, has your perception changed about what you think of the company?
Well, here's one says it invokes a warm feeling. It's good to associate with a brand. Uh,
Hmm.
oh, here's an interesting one. I want to be a filmmaker, and I love how it's got an awesome story. It doesn't change my mind about the company, but again, they are making, or yeah, they are making a mental and emotional impression in the hopes of
Hmm.
making the name stick out.
Yep, that's exactly what I mean by like in terms of the way you think about the company. Like, and I'll be honest, like I knew Subaru is, it's like Subaru and Volvo are like the cars that are kind of synonymous with family and bigger and safe. And I didn't really think that much of a Subaru before. Not negatively. It's just that I didn't know enough about it. And the moment I saw these commercials, like, oh, okay, squarely, like I would totally consider a Subaru if I were in that market, right? If I needed a car like that, like this more than a Volvo, this is this seems the like kind of like understated family car. It's not the big old minivan, but it's like that's what I mean by understated, but it's perfect for families.
Yeah, a couple other comments. Very reliable. That's come up a
Hmm.
couple times. Commercials well done. I think that they help moms be okay when it's time for their kids to drive. they, they will be okay, no worries. That's a good point.
Hmm.
Uh, I have a son in college, so I I know my wife wants him to drive around in a tank so he can't get hurt.
Yeah, right. Well, good. So,
Okay.
so Russell, if there aren't any more comments, then why don't we go to our last one?
Okay, great. Let me just get us on that one. That was the Capital One commercial.
Hmm. So this is our last commercial, and first of all, start typing in like what whether you liked it or not. My goal today was to have a variety of commercials. So this is kind of our celebrity version of it. The others aren't, the others didn't use a celebrity, and the whole point is there's so many different types of commercials out there and formats and this and that I wanted to do the same for our discussion.
So we have quite a few yeses. We have a ha-has, sort of liked it. Um, let's see here. Reminds me a lot of my dad. I like, let's see, wait a minute. I like it. Very sweet outlook. Kind of corny.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of with Luke here. I think it's kind of corny too, myself, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, and so like that's why I asked you guys for your opinion before I shared mine. I don't know if I like this. This is probably my least favorite out of the ones we talked about today, and the reason for that is I think it relies too much on celebrity and not enough on like why should I bother as a consumer, and like what's in it for me besides double miles. And these days with credit card products, like you have so many choices, and whatever, and a lot of banks get a bad rap or all this. So I don't know how it benefits the consumer, besides the double miles and being associated with a celebrity. So in this case, it's like it feels weird to have a celebrity pitching a credit card. But that's the kind of the conservative viewpoint in me in terms of like, if you're going to sell me a credit card, tell me what the credit card does. But maybe I'm old fashioned.
So I've got quite a few more comments here. I didn't
Please.
like this one as much, but I don't know celebrities, so that's probably why. So evidently they didn't know the person that was pitching
Well,
the card.
that goes back. That's exactly my point. Is some people she's not a big enough celebrity
Right.
for somebody to understand exactly, and so that's like I find the whole pairing as a mismatch.
Yeah, that was Erica. Arnold's got a comment here. The commercial was short, and I'm not sure it was reaching the general public.
Yep.
Elizabeth says, I like the commercial, but it didn't make me want to get one.
Yeah.
Um,
There you go. Yep.
Jemmy, I could not get the point to put a celebrity because you always see a celebrity as rich, which is a good point. Kenneth,
Yeah.
Mar- yeah,
That's right.
marketing the card is good enough for and preferred for famous person's own family. Um, so, so
Good point.
wow, we got a lot of them here. You want me to go through all of them, or?
No. In terms of if it's the same
Okay.
type, but if it echoes the same message, then no. But in terms of, so yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, the whole point of it is what I didn't want to show you is all my favorite commercials. I wanted to show you a variety of them of like, this is what it means to have a great commercial, right? Like we talked about the emotions it evoked. They're like mini stories, right? Like this was not a story. This was not like I found no emotional connection, even if I'm not like, for example, I'm not ready to buy a car right tomorrow, but if I were, and if I were, a parent of a small child and who had a dog or a big family, my God, for sure I'd consider a Subaru. Like, okay, Capital One, if I needed a new credit card tomorrow, would I go out seeking Capital One? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, but much lower on the priority list. I would probably choose, different ones for different reasons. And so it goes back to like, how much does it change your behavior But even before then, how does it change your view of the company, right? You're not going to consider buying a product of a company if you don't walk away with like warm and fuzzy feelings. And I think that's where it starts with that emotional connection. Like GE, like I could watch that, over and over. I think that's just so well done. I feel like it's really like a biography of Motley.
Got a couple other comments here. I like the commercial, but I don't want one, and I don't feel it lets you think you can improve, so why try? This commercial is only truly effective when it's combined with an entire marketing campaign.
Yeah. Good point. It doesn't stand on its own. You're right.
Right. Yeah, it's a low budget commercial, although they probably paid a lot for the celebrity.
Yeah. Well, that's what their entire budget was for the celebrity and not enough.
Yeah. Capital One tends to place unreal characters on the commercials, like the caveman. I know they have another commercial. They've used the caveman.
Yes.
So those that kind of gives you a range of the comments there.
Yep, those are good. So, so what do you guys think of this format? Do you like how we kind of dissected the commercials? Like, any comments about just kind of the webinar in general, and recommendations to kind of organize the next one? What worked? What didn't work?
So we have I loved the class. That was Luke. Yolanda, yes, this was like a group meet. Just waiting for other comments here. There we go. I enjoyed the setup. That was from Erica. Maria, loved the discussion. Very nice. I like it, Arnold. Krista, I enjoyed it. Love the group discussion. Just a little issue with some of the video. Okay, yeah, I know some of you have mentioned that. April, I enjoyed it. First time doing this. Elizabeth, good. Yes, it gave me a deeper why of looking at commercials. We're not by the way.
So I mean, in terms of one of the takeaways is as you watch commercials, like try to think of it. Yes, the first time you watch it, you were obviously the viewer and the audience and whatever. But as you watch, different commercials, and especially if you see it like second, third, fourth time, like think of it as what the company is trying to do with them. Like, what are the company goals? What is the company message? What are the marketing messages in the commercial? So I would encourage you to not just view it passively as a consumer. We all do that, and we do that kind of the first couple times we see it, of like, oh, that's cool or whatever. But then the more you see it, you don't view it with the same level of eyes. Now you can view it with, and especially after today's discussion, view it from the company perspective. What is the company hoping to achieve?
Okay. Let's see. I enjoyed the webinar in spite of not being able to see or hear the commercials. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Hillary. We do have a couple comments that some of the video was a little choppy, so that's something we'll have to keep in mind for next time.
Sure.
Okay.
Or maybe we send the links in the invite, maybe next time.
Maybe that's a good idea, so that they have the links and they can see them. Okay. Good idea. Let's see. Can't wait for another one. Okay.
In the meantime, we'll scout the TV programs to find four other compelling commercials, both good and bad.
Okay.
That'll be my homework. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good. Alrighty.
Well, good. 9 minutes to spare. I'm really glad to be able to have this discussion with you, and I've learned a lot from your comments. So I really do appreciate the interactivity. That's the whole point of this, is that it's not a lecture. This is something that people see different things, and it's only by discussing them that we can kind of share that. So this was, beyond my expectations in terms of your participation. So I'm really appreciative of your time, of your involvement involvement, your contribution. So thank you very much, and thank you, Russell, for being the co-pilot.
No problem. No problem. I enjoyed it too. I just have a question for everybody. How many people watch the commercials when the Super Bowl is on? I guess that's something that I'm just curious to see whether anybody really watches them. Yeah, we have a couple. Oh yeah. Oh yes. So it looks like everybody does. Yeah. So that kind of shows you that's why they spend so much money on those commercials.
Yep.
Because everybody
You
watches.
got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes they are the best part.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
all right. Well, this was fun. And
Thank you again, Russell.
you're welcome. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us here and do this. So I guess we're going to wrap it up here.
Yep, and everyone be on the lookout for the next date, and Russell and I will coordinate when that'll be.
Okay. Thank you, everyone who joined us. Just a couple things. Within 24 hours, you're going to get an email from me with a link to complete a very, very short survey. It's only 2 questions, so it shouldn't take you more than 10 seconds to complete. And just let us know your thoughts. I think you have in the webinar here, and I'd like to hear from you on other. There's a question in there about other topics that you might be interested in us doing. So as Devi said, we'll have future presentations, and again, this is a recorded webinar, so you will be seeing it. You will be able to see it again on the community. Unfortunately, I didn't start it right at the beginning, so it kind of starts in like the first 5 minutes, I think. So you'll miss the first few minutes, but that was just me talking about how to navigate around anyway. So anyway, thank you everyone for attending, and have a great evening. And we'll be on again sometime in the near future. Thanks.
Sounds great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.